Man who knows a little bit about fighting violent crime is Curtis Sliwa. He is the founder of New York's Guardian Angels, a citizens' patrol of the city subways, and he's also the host of Curtis and Cosby, a new radio show on WABC in New York. And Curtis Sliwa is here in studio with us tonight. Curtis, welcome back to the show.
Oh, pleasure to be here. And MS13, that's my sweet spot. I've been battling them since they first arrived from El Salvador in the 80s in L.A., outside of Washington, D.C. and Fairfax County in the 90s, and out now in Nassau and Suffolk County in Long Island, where they are ingrained and entrenched.
Well, how big of a threat are they? Because many are accusing the president of exaggerating this threat. What do you think?
No. The president actually is more on top of this than Barack Obama was. Barack Obama treated MS-13 like they were the JV of street gangs, like he referred to ISIS.
ISIS, yeah, all right.
And so he poo-pooed them. Meantime, they just gained strength. And it's a geopolitical organization. What I mean by that is it affects the politics in El Salvador now, Guatemala, Honduras. They're in Egypt. They're in Cuba. They're in South Korea. This is not just a local or regional gang. So let's say that the president and his attorney general, Jeff Sessions, are successful in cracking down, making them do time for crimes committed in the United States and deporting them back to Central America. Well, that's creating chaos in Central America, which has the highest homicide rate in the world. That's not doing any favors to our neighbors. So we need to isolate them. You have Devil's Island right off of Panama. Incarcerate them there, try to assimilate them back into society. But if you let them stay in the United States or Central America, they will continue to grow because their whole code of being, if you look at their tattoos, from prison to the grave, they don't mind going to prison.
No.
And they don't mind dying.
Their motto is kill, rape, control. So certainly a big threat. And one of the big problems is that they're rife in so-called sanctuary cities where police are not allowed to cooperate with ICE, with immigration enforcement agents. So even if they get arrested, they don't tell the feds about this, and there's an issue with deporting them out of the country. How problematic is this dynamic?
What's so problematic is they put it right in your face. They're all tattooed up. They got like giraffes, big 13 marks here on their forehead, on their knuckles. It's obvious who they are and what code of existence they follow. But in the sanctuary cities, people who are very liberal and progressive, they say, you're over-exaggerating. But they have no idea. They've never been in the street. So they are small in stature physically. They're not like the Hells Angels, you know, beefy guys with muscles between both ears. But their fear is with the machete.
Right.
They behead you. They chop your arms, your limbs off. It's all, sort of like the way ISIS was able to terrorize and traumatize people.
Absolutely. Just yesterday, an incident in Queens linked back to MS-13. So back to the sanctuary cities, because this is one of the things that the president is seeing as a major loophole that needs to be fixed. Shouldn't criminals be deported? What's the reason to keep them here?
Well, number one, their due process. You know, you could easily just indiscriminately start grabbing people and deporting them and claiming they're MS-13.
But if they're here illegally in the first place.
Yeah, but again, how did they get here? Under what conditions did they get here? Aren't we partly responsible for this? We created the civil war in El Salvador. We supported the murder of Duarte. The communists were supported in Cuba by Fidel Castro. They were murdering people. People fled to the United States. They formed a gang to protect themselves against the Mexicans because they moved into the area.
So that's justification for Americans being killed because of political involvement in El Salvador?
No, it's justification to understand it's a regional problem. So if we're going to do America first, which is sending them back to El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, and guess what? They will come back. No wall will stop them because they have a reason to come back. And they're not involved in drug dealing and selling guns, which makes them easy to sort of work into the fabric and to bust them. They extort and they shake down their own people through fear and intimidation. So if we don't have cooperators, if we don't use what we used to break the back of Italian organized crime, the RICO Act, the Conspiracy Act, then MS-13 will continue to grow and prosper from the prison to the grave because, again, they don't mind dying.
They don't mind dying. That's clearly a big issue. And again, as we said, one of the big problems is these legal loopholes that we're seeing in sanctuary cities. The president is proposing cutting some federal funding to them. Do you agree with that?
First of all, they're going to go into court. That's going to be tied up in knots. Why not just have an agreement between the local cities where obviously these gangs are able to breed and grow? The United States, which is the most powerful nation in the world and has gone to war against ISIS, and we're now winning. And these third world countries, which have become a haven for MS-13, and come up with a comprehensive policy where, yeah, as the president said, let's deport the bad hombres and not the hardworking, honest, law-abiding, illegal aliens who deserve a pathway to citizenship.
So where exactly do you want to set them up?
Oh, if I had my druthers? Well, you have Plum Island right off of Long Island. You have a number of islands that could easily be turned into correctional facilities.
So a version of Gitmo, if you will, a different adaptation?
No, because you give an opportunity to their families and lawyers to visit them. You hope that some will assimilate. The really hardcore ones that may be hopeless, but you have to separate them from the rest of society because they will continue to kill, rape, intimidate, shake down, and extort. They're not coming after you. They're not coming after me. They're going after their own illegal alien community that they're able to traumatize and hold in terror. And that's how they're able to survive. Now, what member of the illegal alien community is going to come in and drop dime and report on MS-13 activities, knowing that they are getting deported every day for cooperating? No, it's not working. It's not working.
Curtis, as always, good to talk to you. Interesting stuff. Curtis Sliwa, thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
Coming up, a deadly quake. The rescue effort is underway on